Sunshine goes to the Rod Run for 2025. This is his first time going on a big family vacation with us since him coming home. This is going to have a lot of footage about the Rod Run because it's really cool. But it's also going to be our experience of bringing our daughter's service dog along with us and what that experience was like for us during the Rod Run and for the family vacation. So enjoy the cars and our journey.
Hey guys!
Hi.
So we brought our son to it's like extreme cars in Gatlinburg. And this is our experience with a service dog. They were wonderful, right?
Yeah.
But we didn't get to go in. Our son did, and my husband's with him. But because of Maddie's epilepsy, they said we couldn't go in with her. So we're going to find something else to do. All right. We'll keep you posted.
Due to the flashing lights, they said that it wasn't good for her to go in, so they didn't let us go in with her. But here's some of the cars that my husband and my son got to see. It was a museum in Gatlinburg. It was 20-ish to get in. It didn't take long, but they had a really good time, and it was nice to do on our way into Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge. Check them out. Maddie and I found other stuff to do while they did that.
Yeah, show the geese. Pretty. He likes that. Do you like that? That's a restaurant, baby.
When crossing the street, it was pretty busy, and our daughter's just learning to walk with Sunshine. So my husband kind of reinforced helping her by holding the short leash. Here, she had a blast when she found two little garden fairies, and they were very sweet and took a picture. Sonny was so entertained, he just couldn't stop staring at them. All right, we finally hit the strip, and the first thing we did, because it was a bit rainy, after we got there, was hit the LeConte Center. They had an indoor car show set up. It was $20 per person. We ran into a couple who were very sweet and covered our tickets. Very generous of them. It was very nice. It was a very nice gift from them and a way to pay it forward, which we try to do ourselves. We always try to pay it forward in little ways to people that we meet. Okay, in the LeConte Center, there was all kinds of cars. And as you can see, we had a scooter there because it is very hard. Maddie gets tired to walk around long distances. And I am also disabled and can't walk very far without getting pretty tired. But since Maddie's open heart surgery, it just takes her a little bit. She just doesn't have the stamina. Well, she didn't have it before, but we just have to make sure that she has a scooter that she can utilize when we're going to be doing a lot of walking, or that we have a stroller that we can push her in. But as you can see, there are some great cars. It was a pretty amazing setup, but I love the classics. Our family loves the classics. Sunshine did really well. He walked along and didn't get over anxious or anything like that. As I said, this is our first time. He's only been home about 8 weeks now. And this is our first time really taking him out on any big family vacation. So we got to test the waters as it were, in the crowded area.
I went back
when
to
we
video,
first
yeah.
went in, they have an officer
reason,
there
Google Play came
because
up.
they don't allow pets. They were very good and recognized that Sunshine was indeed a service dog. And we had no problems getting in. If you go, they will stop you and check out your service animal, or if you have a pet, they will stop you, and you can't get in the LeConte Center with a pet. But they were fine with us, with Sunshine. My husband was very sweet in being the cameraman for this trip while we were in the LeConte Center, so that I could just enjoy some of the cars with my daughter and navigating the scooter and with sunshine. So our son and his little friend that we invited on the trip were off looking at the cars a few feet away from us, and bought a hat and, some merchandise from the rod run and from the car show. So we were about to wrap it up and check outside and see if the sun had come back out, because like I said, it had been a little bit rainy on and off since we got there. So follow us on the next part to see what other adventures we were going to have on the rod run. Once outside, the sun was back out, and we were able to try to walk the strip just a little bit. Everybody who goes to the rod run knows what I mean when I'm talking about the main strip. So we saw quite a few nice cars. It was really great to get out there. We went Thursday and Friday. It goes on through the weekend, so we didn't have a whole lot of traffic jams like happens when you go later in the week. So again, we just kind of enjoyed going up and down the main strip for a few blocks, and the boys would walk ahead, so I made sure to keep them in sight. We decided after a while we wanted to go have some lunch. We was hungry, so we went to that downtown Flavor Town, or in Pigeon Forge. I think it's on Veterans Boulevard near light number 2. No, I'm sorry, it's like at light number 3, unless you're already on Veterans Boulevard. Anyway, great food, great prices, and it had a little arcade. So we let the kids have a good time in the arcade for a little bit. And she had to get her picture, of course. We didn't stay in the arcade long with our daughter because of the lights. All the arcades tend to have these lights, and we have to be careful that they don't trigger a seizure with her epilepsy. But we didn't want her to feel left out, so we did let her go in for a few minutes. Obviously, the boys stayed in a little bit longer, but we let her try a few little games and have a little bit of fun. And Sonny did so well. He was very patient with all the crowd, and when she would stop and play any games, he sat or stood next to me pretty well. I'll hold Sonny. You get up in there. Okay, you tap to play right there. Tap the card. Oh, okay. I see, because it's scary. Okay, that's okay. All right, tell Sonny back. Here, back. Okay. Good job. So we checked into our hotel, and at check-in, they had a sign, of course, that said service dog welcome. You don't have to disclose that you have a service dog. It's nice when you do. I'm still learning about all of this. I did not, because you don't really disclose that you have other medical equipment like a wheelchair. The manager was a little bit shocked when we came in with Sonny and asked that we sign a paper for the cleaning crew, saying we wouldn't leave the dog in the room. I want to address that by saying you don't leave a service dog in the room, so I had to explain that. But he was still really nice about it, and after that we had no problems. We noticed through the day that our daughter was a little bit sneezy and started to develop a runny nose, and by evening she wasn't feeling too great. When she shows signs of sickness, we don't play around. Sunshine, you can see, was faithfully watching over her as she rested. We took her to urgent care the next morning just to be safe. It turns out she just had a little cold. The doctor gave her antibiotics, and we just kind of slowed down and paced ourselves a little bit because we still wanted our son to be able to finish and enjoy his trip. Once she had the antibiotics in her system for 24 hours, she started to feel a bit better. So we just got out the next day and rode the main strip some more to see what other cars were coming in and just enjoyed the town. Again, in years past, we haven't taken the kids because we've been so busy, but my husband and I have been because we lived in that area several years ago, and it seemed not as busy this year, but we still saw some beautiful cars. So, as I said earlier, it pretty much rained on and off the whole trip. So, we just got a little bit frustrated from time to time with the rain and just decided that we'd make the best of it and try to see as much as we could see from the car. And maybe that's why there weren't as many cars as I've used to see in the past. at this point, we needed a little break, so we went and got us something to eat. So stay tuned for part 2 and check out the rest of our rod run adventure.